Hi class. So this is my little lesson on the damper pedal on a piano, known as the sustain pedal on a keyboard. This is a Steinway grand piano. They were the ones that invented and first started overlaying the strings. You have strings going this way, and then you have the strings going crossways on it. They were the first ones to do that. And this is the pin block here with the pins. And this is the frame here, and the metal frame, steel frame, and the strings and the dampers. These are the dampers that lift when you push the right pedal, which is the damper pedal. See how they all lift up? That's why it's called the damper pedal. And as you notice on a piano, for each string are the high notes. So on this note right here, notice as the damper goes up, there's 3 strings that are there to vibrate. So when a piano tuner tunes the string, he has to mute 2 of the 3 and then hit it and then mute the other 2 and so on. He has 3 strings to tune for every note. A lot harder than even a 12-string guitar. So then you have these notes up here, the frequencies are so thin that they do not interrupt each other so much, and so the strings do not have dampers because it doesn't matter if they continue to ring. They don't interfere with the other tones that are being struck on the piano or with each other. And each time you play any note, this note right here, as you see, that note, when I hit it and hold my finger down, the mechanism holds the damper up as I hold the finger down to allow the string to ring. As soon as I lift my finger from the note, the damper comes back down, and that's what stops the sound of the note, is the damper. Okay? So you have 3 strings for every note of the piano, all the way till around here, I think. Between the C and the B here, goes from 3 strings on this note. No, this is 3 strings here on the B, and then B flat is 2 strings, B flat. Notice there's 2 strings for the B flat, on down. 2 strings, and then between the G and the G flat, it goes to 1 string. That doesn't really have anything to do with the damper pedals, but it's interesting the way that the tone of each string is varied also, besides pitch, also by the coiling of the string. Okay, so that's the notes of the keyboard, and they are all related to each other. The way music is they have a fundamental tone in which is what we hear. So this middle C is right here, and what we hear is ba. But above that fundamental tone, we also hear what's called overtones. The first overtone above the fundamental tone is the octave above it. That would be this note here. So if I allow this string, by lifting the damper to vibrate, if I hit the octave below it, it makes that one vibrate because the frequencies are related to the length of this string and cause it to vibrate. If I were to hold this one up, it would not vibrate. Isn't that amazing? And then we have this C here, but it's an octave, the first partial or the first overtone, and it makes it ring. The second one is a fifth above that. So let's try that one. You can hear it just a little bit. Or how about if I hold this one down here, and I never really tried this, the octave below it. Well, it allows it to, what we're hearing is this frequency above the strings of this. That frequency causes this to vibrate, and we're hearing this note's first partial because this one's not vibrating anymore. That's pretty wild. Okay, so there's all these overtones, and they go on in infinity. If we take this G here above this, and then it's the tonic above that, which would be a fourth above that, and then it goes by the triad, and then I think it does a major seventh. All these frequencies are in the fundamental that we hear, but we hear the tone, the pitch of the fundamental tone. What gives the tone its character? That's a piano. That's a man singing. Depends on how the overtones from the fundamental are vibrating and how they mix and how they sound and give it the character that it sounds. That's how we hear a trumpet or anything. It's by the nature of the vibrations, how they are related and how they all vibrate together. And that's what gives our brain its recognition of what kind of instrument is playing that melodic, that musical pitch. So if we allow all the frequencies of the entire keyboard, the entire palette of the musical tones to vibrate, it just, what we call sonority, gives it a great sonorous sonority. And composers have used that to great effect. Chopin's Aeolian Harp Etude. That's a lot of harmonies there, a lot of notes going on there, and then you have just like Clair de Lune. So each time I change the harmony, D flat and then G flat. You change the harmony for each time you change the harmony, the pedal goes up and down. Okay, so that's some business about the way the vibrations of the dampers rather lift and allow the sonority of all the overtones to ring together, and it gives it a sonorous kind of a fullness that we enjoy when we hear piano being played. Okay, it opens up more sound, more color. So the rule is each time the harmony changes, you change the pedal. There's also a good rule that it's not so much how you pedal, it's how you play through the pedal. If you still bring, you can kind of give it a pedal smeary effect, and it will affect the sound, even though you're not changing the pedal perfectly for each different harmonic tone. Sometimes composers will use the word half pedal because there's different degrees of how high the dampers can go. They can still touch the strings a little bit with these felt pads underneath the dampers, but they affect it just a little bit, so not as much. Rachmaninoff's Etude Tableau here is like a half pedal. And so on. I'm playing standing up, it's a little awkward. Also, this piano is extremely loud, and we always have it covered up and completely closed up because I live in an apartment, so we don't want to disturb the neighbors as much. But to show you the dampers, I've opened it all up. Okay, so there's 88 hammers for 88 different tones. There's, however, I've never counted all the strings to add up the actual number of strings. I guess that would be an interesting mathematical equation. It would be from this C to this B, so that would be 12, 24, 36, 48, 61 keys have 3 strings, so 61 times 3 is 183, and then from here down to here, that's 12, 13, 14, 15 has 2 strings, that's 30, so 183 plus 30 is 213. 213, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 223 strings are vibrating on the piano altogether when all the dampers are lifted. 223. I think I got that right. We'll have to double check it later. Okay, so that's that. And then let's see. As far as the how you pedal, this is very important then too. So, as I've sometimes said, my pet peeve is hearing poor pedaling. So the way the pedal works is when you have the pedal down, the strings vibrate. When I look, Mom, no hands. So if I just go up to the next triad, all white keys, or as I play piano, my foot comes up and back down. Up, down, up, down. You gotta up to clear the old, down to catch the new. Up, down. So I'm playing chords in a legato sound by my foot. Otherwise there would be air in between. I can't play a chords legato, because I have to lift my fingers in order to reach the next chord, but with my foot I can continue to play them legato. See? Okay, so that's changing the pedal for each change of harmony. There are pedal markings in pieces of music, and you have it in, even Cockles and Muscles throws in a little pedal sign. As you can see here, it's at the very end. No pedal at all except at the very end, just to bring out the fullness of the C harmony at the end. Okay, so it ends. At the end, you should keep your hands on the keys until your foot lifts with your hands in that case, because it's the last note of the piece, and therefore you want to keep your hands on the piano so that the audience knows that they're not supposed to clap yet. Okay, then we have the beautiful green sleeves, and as you notice, it's the way the pedal is indicated in these pieces. It's a line at the bottom. And interestingly, the little line that goes up is exactly what our foot should be doing when we change the harmony. This is A minor, and it goes up a step to G major. White keys, A minor, G major. And as you play the G major, your foot comes up and then catches the new harmony. Okay, so I ended up playing the whole piece. That's green sleeves. That sounds lovely with the pedal. And you notice all the change marks as where I said change the pedal. And then I won't. This is getting kind of long. So the other piece, the festival collection, the other book rather, has the piece that uses pedal is Snowflakes Gently Falling. I believe that's really the only piece in the book, this particular book, that uses pedal at all. Even the pieces that are more advanced, some of the contemporary pieces, I don't think use pedal in this book. However, Snowflakes Gently Falling use pedal throughout, and it's simply indicated with a word, pedal sempre, pedals always, until you get to the bottom, and then it carries up, picks up with a line to show you that it wants you to lift and change the pedal here and lift and change the pedal here. So you can just keep your foot down and not worry about it. Keep your pedal down. Up, down. Up, down. Okay? I like that piece slower, even though the recording that comes with the book plays it about that fast. I think that's about it. I wanted to show you, say, a piece by Chopin, for example, that would have different kinds of pedal markings. Here's his music here. And notice it says, that always looks like an L to me, but it's P-E-D. And then it's a little asterisk to lift your pedal and put it back down. So really, the line that looks like a heartbeat is a little bit better in terms of showing you how your foot's supposed to go, because you would really keep this foot down all the way till the PED and then lift it here and put it back down somewhere in that new harmony, okay? And sometimes the composer will just say, instead of pedal sempre, he'll say con pedal, which means he leaves it at your discretion as to how he wants you to pedal. Okay, so that's, I think about what I have as far as the pedaling goes. A way to practice, the best way to practice this, I think, is with your chord progressions, your cadences. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So that's a good way to practice it. 2, 3, 4. Clear the old, catch the new. Clear the old, catch the new. If I lift it too soon, I'll have air in between. My joke is that pianists want to be like a Pinocchio pedaling. Every time your hand comes up, your foot comes up with it. No, it's got to be pedaling like a real boy. After he became a real boy, he could control the movement of his foot apart from a string holding on to his foot. Okay? So that's that. And this is also bad. It all rings together if you forget to change your pedal, or if you don't change your pedal high enough, it's going to blur harmonies together. This is what I don't like when I hear sometimes a pianist will play and blur his harmonies together. If you hear it blurring, you can fix it by just lifting your foot higher while you're holding the keys down and clearing the old non-harmonic tones away, and then catching the harmonic tones with your new pedal, okay? Hopefully that explains everything as well as you need. Everything is the same on a keyboard. If you're wondering about the middle pedal is like the damper pedal, but it's dedicated only to the notes that you're going to be playing. So say I want a pedal in the bass. That's a musical theory term. So if I want these three to be held, all the other ones will be dried. Okay, so it can be used to musical effect that way. It's not often used. It's called the sostenuto pedal. The one on the left is actually a soft pedal that makes the notes softer simply by shifting the entire hammer apparatus down to the left. I guess you can see it better this way. See the hammers in there? Watch when I press the soft pedal. Actually, they go to the right. And Beethoven would write una corda, which means one string. So instead of hitting 3 strings on the keys, it's going to hit just one of the 3 strings. So it's a subtle change in the tone as well as a little less volume. An upright piano would move the hammers closer to the strings so it can't hit the strings as hard because it's not hitting them from as high of a distance. And that's how the soft pedal works with a piano, an upright piano. Obviously with a keyboard it's done electronically. Okay, so I hope that helps with your keyboard pedaling. And like I say, practice with chord progressions. So, can't find my hand. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. Be a good way to practice the pedaling. Okay? Over and out.